about 350 yards up. He's going to hit about a 500, I expect, don't you think?
That's the beach, man. Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
Let's go while we're young.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this special interview episode of the Chasing Daylight podcast. We love having guests on, especially guests in the golf space. And today we have Mr. Bernerd Garsen, famously known for Garsen Grips. How you doing this afternoon, sir?
Matt, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. We've been trying to get you on the show for a couple years now, and just, right. You're a busy man. You're a busy man. So I want to start. I like starting all the interviews off by giving the people who may not know you or know your story a little bit of background. There's a great page on the Garsen website, on the About page, that talks a lot about how you started. I wasn't aware that you were a model.
Oh, yeah. 25 years, So, yeah.
Yeah.
From model, I guess I've heard the comment from model to mobile,
Model. I like that.
Yeah, to ever think about when I was doing modeling living in Europe that I'd be back involved in the golf business and designing grips is pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let everybody know how you got started in the golf space. We can fiddle around with the modeling if you want, but what got you into golf, and how did that lead to owning a grip company?
Well, it all probably started back when I was around 10 years old. I started playing golf with my father, and next thing you know, I'm out there, playing with him and all his buddies, and I'm sitting there on a weekly basis. What am I doing playing golf with all these old men? There's no young, I'm not out hanging out with my buddies playing golf. So I got out of golf at about 14. I got on the motorcycles. I started racing motocross. I raced professionally for a few years, and I crashed and banged up myself pretty good, fractured my skull, messed up my back, broke a few bones and all that. So I kind of gave up the motocross, and I got back into golf and just kind of playing around, but my swing wasn't as good as it was. So I, ended up going out one night with a few of my buddies. We went into a bar, and they were having this contest, and I entered the contest, and this photographer came up to me and said, "Well, have you ever thought about, maybe doing some modeling?" And I'm like, "No." So this is, well, what would you like to get some pictures done? So I went, built a portfolio. I went around a couple agencies in LA when I was living in LA, and they said, "Well, if you really want to get started, you got to go to Europe." So I packed my bags and I went to Barcelona. I was there for a week, and I actually tore all my ligaments in my ankle in a fashion show, believe it or not. I didn't want to get into that story.
Motocross the runway crash.
Right. So I went back home, and for the following year, I moved back to Europe. I was there pretty close to 8 years, traveling throughout Europe, Italy, Germany, France, Greece, Spain, lived in South Africa for a year. And yeah, so, wow. And then while I was living in Europe, a friend of mine was a tennis instructor at one of the high-end golf clubs in Masiabach out in Barcelona. So he says, "Oh, you know what? There's a golf course out here. You want to teach me how to play golf, and you can play golf for free." And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So I took the game up again and started playing, and it was a lot of fun. And I moved back to Miami in '95. Started modeling there and doing a lot of cruise line work and just a lot of commercial work. So then after 9/11, the industry kind of died. So I went to work out at Doral. And within 6 months, I was running all the golf outside operations. So I was in charge of the golf, and I think, well, I'm out here, I might as well start playing golf again for a while. So I started playing golf, and that was just kind of like, a daily, weekly thing to hit golf balls, go play golf once or twice, and that was it. So then there was a production company. I was doing an infomercial, Jim McLean. So I stopped by to talk to him. They told Jim, "Well, we know this guy. He can obviously speak on camera. Why don't you have him get in your infomercial?" Jim says, "Well, I know you, but can you hit a golf ball?" I said, "Yeah, I can hit a golf ball." So we did the infomercial, and then after that, Jim's like, "You can get it around pretty good. What are you doing working out here?" He's, "How old are you?" And at the time I was in my mid-40s. He goes, "Well, what's your story?" And I told him the whole thing. He goes, "Well, what about the Champions Tour?" So I thought about it, and then a couple years later, at the time, my wife designed a line of acrylic furniture for Robin Stuckey. which is a big furniture store in Florida. I started doing all their TV commercials and their catalog work and everything else. And I got to talking to the owner about, Champions Tour. And we talked about possibly doing a sponsorship deal where he was going to pay me to stop working and just play golf to have a chance for the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, which we did do. And then 3 days before my last day at work, a battery charger fell on my head in the cart barn.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that put me back in the, 4 herniated disc in my neck, concussion. Oh. I went through 2 years pain management, 4 epidural shots, physical therapy. So golf game kind of went to shit, basically, So after that, I became an instructor. I started teaching golf, became an assistant pro. And as a kid, I always putted differently. I always putted my hands more open on the side of the putting grip. So I was incorporating that in teaching people, like, I understand what you're talking about, but it really doesn't feel comfortable because there's not a permanent place to rest my thumbs like the flat spot.
Yeah. So
I went home one night and I cut apart 3 grips and glued them together with shoe glue. And that's how I came up with the first edition of the edge grip with the 2 edges on the side where your thumbs go on each side. So I glued that, taped that to a putter shaft, and I was trying to show that and incorporate that with teaching people. Like, man, this is great. Where can I get one? I'm like, well, this is the only prototype there is out there. So I found an investor, and before you know it, I was on a plane, went to China. And within the first year, I went through 5 factories trying to produce my product. Every factory that I sent the grip to was sending it out to another factory, and the same factory is manufacturing the grip every time.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the hard part. I ended up working out the production end of it. So then after getting that, trying to get this approved by the USGA, I went through 7 submissions to get my first grip approved, which took 2.5 years. 7. And it's not like they tell you each time, this has to be done, it has to be done. They don't tell you everything at once. It's like, well, this isn't conforming because of this. This isn't conforming because of that. There's always just something a little variable and very small. And I think the most interesting about it was because it was something so different in the beginning. I think they really didn't know what they were looking at. So after the 7th submission, I finally called Carter Rich and said, hey, listen, what's going on? Are you ever going to approve this, or are you just jerking my chest or what? Because every time I had to get it resubmitted, I had to do new tooling, new molding. It wasn't just something that could be done easily, So it was a big cost process to go through all that. But I ended up, persevering through all that, and I got my grip finally approved. And then next thing you know, I'm out on tour. Took the grip out on tour, which was another chore, getting out on tour. You can't just pack your bags and go stand on the putting green. There's all the politics of getting on tour as well. You've got to have a player using your grip, but if you don't not on tour, how can you get a player unless you know somebody? So I was fortunate enough to know Fulton Elam's daughter, and she got it in her father's hands. So he was using it on the Champions Tour when he was playing. So I was able to get him to sign an affidavit that he would put the grip in place. So that got me rights to get a credential out on tour. But once you get a credential, doesn't mean you stay out on tour either.
Yeah.
You have to have so much appearance on the Darrell Survey, which is a company that goes out there every week and they mark what is in the players' bags, all the equipment from the irons to the, to the drivers, to the shafts, to the grips and all that. And that's a whole process as well.
What's the percentage on the Darrell that you have to have?
Percent here have played your product in play. But, as of now, I have over 85 wins on tour. So it's not that bad, but they also incorporate that with all the tours, the PGA. And then, and the fun, ironic thing about it, when I first got on tour with the edge grip, was a little skinny grip. Next thing you know, Super Stroke's coming out, and then it was the fat grip stage, So then I had to now go back to the drawing board and come up with my next grip, which was the fat grip, which was the max grip. Yeah. So, yeah.
So is what is now like the quad tour, the main one, is that basically your original design that you've changed over the years?
The funny thing about that, see, all my grip designs came from just like, I would take other grips and I was out on my balcony shaving grips down, grinding grips down. I bought a grinder, getting rubber all over the balcony. At the time, my wife's like, what are you doing out here? You're making a big old mess. And I'm like, well, as a kid, I grew up having a little workshop downstairs in the house. So I was always doing my, coming up, inventing things and doing things, and I enjoyed it. So the quad grip now is probably the main leading selling grip, but the Max, to me, it all goes back to the technology in the Max and the edge grip. Because basically what the grips are doing, for yourself, by getting your hands on the side, it's putting your body in a more neutral position, which is getting your elbows into your body, sending your shoulders back in the proper position. So when I got out on tour, there's a lot of coaches that are really big believers in the technology of the Max grip. Mike Shannon, Mike Bender, Pete Cowan. He uses the edge grip as a training aid for wedges with his players. Phil Kenyon, he's taught a lot of the main players out there. And so basically being out on tour, there are a lot of guys, like the first time JB Holmes picked up my grip, he threw it back at me. He says, "What the hell is this thing?" He goes, "You got it on the putter wrong or what?" I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" He goes,
Sounds
"It
like
feels
my friend
weird."
Dan.
Right. He goes, "It feels weird." I said, "Well, let me ask you a question, JB." I said, "How well has your putting been lately?" And he goes, "Well, you got me there." Right. So at the time, there was a coach out on the putting green that had a Sam Lab set out there, and he was giving the guys their stats. So I said, "Go over and have your stats checked." And his caddy came back. He says, "Can we have the head cover to that putter?" He goes, "JB's stats have never been that good." JB pretty much put me on the map, winning 3 times with the edge grip. And then after, then Stenson winning the British Open, really acknowledged the fact that Garsen was a legit company.
Oh, I didn't realize Stenson had that on his.
So a lot of it was, guys saying, "Listen, I understand the technology, but I'm too traditional. I can't get into this position," which basically it doesn't take that long to really get your body to adapt to something if you give it time. Like literally, if you pick up a Max grip and you putt with it for 20 minutes, your body will, of course, in the beginning, it feels strange because we were all taught how to putt one way.
Yep.
Straight down the middle. Nobody said that was right or wrong. That's how we were all taught. But, look at all the swing changes now in golf. I mean, everything, there's so much technology based with everything, and it can all be proven with the technology that's out there, how much better things are for you. So having all the data and all the breakdown of the design of my grips, I know that I have the best design putter in the body. It gets me time to market. It's just that being a one-man band and doing this all on my own, I don't have the resources that some of these bigger companies have to do all the marketing, promotion, and pay off players to be out there in my grip. Pay players for wins, give them Rolex watches because they're winning with the grip. Paying off coaches to keep them in a grip. I mean, there's the politics out on tour. It's there's a lot more that goes involved than just being out on tour. You deal with so much out there. It's unbelievable.
Have you ever been approached by some of the bigger brands and been basically like, "Get the hell out of here"?
Well, it's kind of in a way, I know that I have been sabotaged by companies putting my grips on product to kind of make my grip look bad by putting it on crooked, not putting enough tape on the grip to make it move. There's so much going on. I don't want to mention names or.
Oh, of course not. No,
yeah, of course not. But it is good to know that I'm also now doing co-branding for some of the top manufacturers out there, the top brands out there. So that's good to know that they're believers in my technology. And, yeah. So, I mean, right now, I probably have not just the top brands, but I mean, constantly now a lot of these new smaller boutique putter companies are reaching out to me for custom branded grips, which is a lot of fun to get involved.
Oh, the Coggin stuff is amazing.
Oh yeah, his grips are great. I love his design. And
it's so good.
Just in the last month, we've probably aligning ourselves with 6 more brands out there to get more marketing going on the custom branding, and just constantly now it's getting bigger and bigger. But the best thing about it too is like we're not asking for a major amount of quantity.
Yeah.
I've got it set up where if you want to do a custom grip, you could do your own custom branding for only 100 grips.
That's amazing.
Not asking for thousands. So
yeah. That really helps those smaller brands.
Oh, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you talked with Dave Frisch from Goodwood? We're big fans of the Goodwood putters around here.
We did reach out together. I know he was really interested in my TPE grip, the rubber grip. But see, like the rubber grip, you'd have to do a whole new tooling, whole new molding just to change the logo. It's not the same as just being able to do a 250 art layout for producing a grip. And the price point on doing a new mold is a couple $1,000s just to get started. So it's kind of like, that's kind of deterring for, deters people from wanting to go in that direction. That's what I'm saying with what we're doing with the lower quantities. It really helps. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice seeing more and more pop up on the boutique side of it. But let's talk about the tour wins.
Okay.
You said you have 85 tour wins now?
Over 85, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Lydia Ko, would you say she's been your most loyal? Is that the right word?
Loyalty, I would say Henrik Stenson's still in my grip, even though he's on the Live Tour. He's, won the first major with the British Open. And that really put Garsen on the map, let people know that this company was for real, and really got me a lot of recognition and accountability and appreciation out on tour, where I was respected a lot more. Tony Finau, every one of his wins are in my grip. Yep. He's been working well with me. Actually, I'm really excited to do the Tony Finau Foundation process, where portions of sales go to his foundation. And Lydia Ko, not only being loyal, she's been probably the most prominent lately, after winning the gold medal with the quad 15 that I designed just for her. And then after winning that, she won 2 tournaments in a row. So she won 3 tournaments in a row once she got back into my grip, because the putter brand that she was using got her out of the original quad tour, got her into the longer grip, which, then she contacted me and says, well, do you have a longer grip? And I'm like,
I do now.
I do. But the one I had, the 17-inch grip, was too heavy for her because she's very particular on her weight. So I went and met with her at the Annika tournament last year, and we developed the 15-inch grip. I cut apart a few grips, made her a 15, a 17, and we settled on the 15-inch quad tour. And now I'm in the process of redesigning another 15-inch grip for her, another quad, the quad pistol design, which is a little narrower in profile. So I'm always sending her grip. She's always tinkering. Like this week, I've got 3 different companies reached out for me for her grip because she's going through another putter experimenting again. So yeah.
Pros, man.
That is great, because it's always like, hey, can you send me some grips and overnight them, please? I'm like, oh, sure, don't worry about it. And it cost me $125 with FedEx.
I'll get them to you.
It'll be nice if you send me your FedEx account, but what am I going to see? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And so let's say this. What tour represents right now your most players?
The Corn Ferry Tour right now. I have quite a few guys out there, which is always a good stepping point. It's like,
Absolutely.
At one point in time, I had over 22 guys on the Corn Ferry Tour. So, and honestly, for me, I travel all the tours on my own. So I go from the PGA Tour, the Corn Ferry Tour, LPGA Tour, and it's kind of tough because not being out on every tour, like I say, like some of these other brands that have reps on every company, on every tour, they have visibility on every tour at every time. Like if I leave a tour for a couple of weeks, it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. Some of the other brands will attack my players and say, hey, Garsen's never coming out here again. We heard the company's folding. You should get yourself into this grip, that grip. And then it's kind of like, oh, yeah. So it's been a battle, but, it's been a battle that I'm still pursuing and not going to quit, because the company's just getting bigger and bigger. And it's like, the tour wins are proving it. And the thing about it, too, it gives me a lot of satisfaction to know that I'm not just slapping a new name on a product and changing the color scheme and still saying I have a new grip. Yeah. It's kind of like the fact is I know that my grips are, like I said, all technology based, and I can prove it. I'm not just designing a grip just to put my name on it and get it out there. I go through a process of every time I design a grip, I work with some coaches. I get all the data to prove that it's working. I take feedback from players as well. That's like all the R&D out there. I'm asking, what would you like to help me design this grip? Like, when the Max 15 grip first came out, that was designed for Tony Finau, which was his first win at the Puerto Rico Open, because his hands were so big. His hands were off falling off the bottom part of the original Max Grip. And then from the Max Grip led to the Ultimate Grip, which was designed for him. And now recently just launched the Ultimate 17, which is becoming a really big seller with a lot of people that are in the lab putters, which congrats to Sam for just selling his company for $200 million.
Yeah.
That would be nice,
Right?
So, I mean, come on. No, I remember meeting Sam when he first got out on tour, and it's an uphill battle, man. Because I tell you, I mean, I can't tell you how many companies I've seen come out there and try and launch a product on tour, especially in the putter business, the putter side of it. I mean, that is very, very, very tough to even try.
It's not easy.
It's not easy to get a player and a putter out on tour.
No.
They're
so particular.
A limited amount of guys because you're talking about the companies in line with with other companies too. They will also promote certain brands, like shaft companies promote certain brands to their players for their OEM market products, and it's a lot of it goes as well as like putter brands come out there, and it's like if you're under a contract with somebody, nine times out of 10 you're using their putter too. So basically, the only companies that aren't really pushing you use a putter are Strixon and PXG.
Yeah.
If you're in the contract with Callaway, you're using Odyssey putter. With Titleist, you're using a Cameron putter. TaylorMade,
Spider. Yeah.
So it's really, but for me, even though it's a grip, you don't think it's going to be that difficult to be out there. It's pretty difficult too, because as I said, there's these companies being aligned with other companies. They're paying players out there to use their grip. They're paying coaches to promote their grip for them. They're giving them bonuses for wins to get a men's and ladies Rolex watch for using your putter grip. It's like, hey, I'd love to do that, but it's like it kind of baffles me because I'm thinking, to get a Rolex watch, it's like, dude, you just won over $1 million friggin' dollars. What's more important to you? Something's going to make your game better, or getting a watch? Right. And getting a watch that I heard is fake anyway. So what's the because I mean, literally, think about this. I mean, everybody knows how difficult it is to get a Rolex watch. You just don't walk in the store and buy a Rolex.
No.
And you just can't walk in the store and find the one you want. So, for instance, if you have 4 wins on tour in that week on all the tours, how are you going to walk into a Rolex store, I don't care who your connection is, and buy 4 Rolexes?
Yeah, that are personalized for them.
If you're dropping, $50,000 or more a month, that's, do the math. You're looking at $500,000 you're going to be giving away in Rolex watches. I mean, you got to shoot yourself in the head for that one. I'd rather have $500,000, $500,000 in my pocket than having to give away a watch to players because it's using my product.
Right.
I mean, believe me, I'd love to be able to, hey, here's an incentive. Here's $10,000 for winning with my grip, something like that. One day, hopefully I do get there. But like I say, it's like, if you're going to give away a product, I mean, give them a high-end product. For what I know, the watches are like the lowest brand level there is in Rolex. And as I said, it's a men's and ladies watch too. So,
yeah. And
it's just kind of weird that how during COVID that the company wasn't able to get a hold of these watches and give them out. As far as I know, Rolexes weren't produced in China. They're produced in Switzerland. So, and if you were buying that many watches, you'd be getting directly from the factory, if you ask me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not really putting anything out there saying that this has actually happened, but this is rumors that I've heard out on tour. It's a lot of it, you put it together, and I find it hard to believe.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think the putter grip market is oversaturated with too many designs?
Yeah, in a sense. A lot of companies now are coming out with, they're just coming out with too much. I mean, the 21-inch grip, the 17-inch grip, this, that.
Arm lock, claw.
And it's just kind of like, not only is it a putter grip market, the putter manufacturers themselves. I mean, on a weekly basis, these companies are coming out with, what did Bernerd come out with that this week? 4 different designs.
Well, I work for Callaway. I'm a fitter for Callaway. Right. I do part-time work, right? I'm a club fitter. And when I found out we had 30 SKUs of Odyssey putters this year, I was like, wow.
Yeah. And that's what you see. You don't see all the new stuff that is out on tour that they're trying to promote.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, on a weekly basis as well. It's insane. It's just, it baffles me. That's why I'm saying it's like how they push their product out there to players. It's like, let a player play with what he wants to, but I see it out there so much that they're just constantly pushing these new products on these guys. It's like, you know, and I feel that the guys that are more successful are guys that haven't really changed, that stay with what they've been in for so long. And I think when you get a guy that's in that routine of constantly changing, he's not going to go anywhere. I mean, granted, there is lightning in a bottle. I had Brandon Steele put my grip and play the first week and went out and won with it, you know. And I just look at some of these guys and I say to myself, first of all, if you're going to make any type of change, working with Mike Shannon, he says, you've got to give yourself 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
You've got to take the good and the bad, but you've got to put yourself 6-week commitment into it and take a look at, well, is this benefiting me or not? And if not, then you make a change, but you're not going to make a change and just go out and play 4 rounds of golf in it and expect it to be, you know that it's going to any better or not. Because, you know, we both know good players have bad days, you know, and whether it's off the tee, whether it's, you know, their irons, whether it's with putting, chipping, there's nobody that's been out there. I mean, granted, for Tiger, as perfect he was with everything he did for so long, I don't think we're ever going to see anybody else win 7 tournaments in a row. That'll never happen in a lifetime. But I mean, look at the dedication he had, and he never switched. Ever. No. I mean, I think he's probably still using the same putter. He's, you know, he play with the same grip style. Everything's the same. He's not.
Well, he had that Nike phase, but those things were so closely resembled to what he was putting with, anyways. So.
Well, even though there was the Nike phase, they were blueprints of what he was playing with when he was playing Titleist irons. He just had the Nike brand on it.
Just had a logo on it.
Right, and that's basically what's going on out there now with all these companies. They're all just copying each other when it comes to putter manufacturing and slapping their brand on it.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing if you look at it, what innovation it really is there out there. Like with the no torque putters that are out there, it's amazing now how actually no torque has been around for
a long time. The backstrike was
because one company who had success with it and being very popular with it, now everybody wants to try and get back into it. I mean, which, you know, in a sense to me, I do say more power to Lab for what they've created. I do think out of the no torque brands, it is probably one of the most intricate putters of them all because of all the weighting, the premier weighting and everything else. That really makes a big difference compared to how balanced it out is. So I had a great conversation yesterday with Liam, who works with Lab. He's with Tour Rep out there and also runs the tour department in the office. We had a great talk about this, and he goes, you know, we're really happy that all these companies have been copying us. It's just giving us more recognition because it just proves to us how good our product is. And I'll be honest with you, there's been companies out there that have gotten close to my designs, and that's the problem with the designing of a putter grip. You have a design patent, one little change here and there, you know, it can change the design a bit, but they can't get exact.
Yep.
I actually had one putter grip company. I noticed that they bought one of every grip off my website. I saw by the email, so I emailed him and I said, hey, listen, I said, I noticed you bought one of all my grips off the website. You should have contacted me. I'd have been more than happy to give you, you know, the tour discount or just, you know, the PUD pricing. He goes, well, no. I just really want to support your company. I'm really happy to see how successful you are. So I wanted to reach out and buy some grips.
Sure you do.
And I'm like, oh, really? Are you sure you're not trying to knock me off? LOL. And he goes, oh, no, I'd never do that. But sure enough, you know, couple months later, one of their brands came out, which was really, really close to mine. But, you know, there's another company too that tried to contact me, told me I was infringing on his patents. I'm like, buddy, my grips are all patented.
Good.
How am I infringing? Why don't you contact the patent department? Then why are you contacting me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I've gone through so many battles, you know, companies calling my manufacturer in China that I was producing my grips with the company at the same time as they were. And they tried to tell the company they couldn't produce my grips because I was infringing on their patents. And, you know, my patent attorney had to send the letter. Well, if you would have done your homework, you'd notice right away that we are not infringing. We are patented. There is no infringement here. But next time, if you have any issues, reach out to us. Don't try and threaten the company, the manufacturer in China. It's like, you know, and they were, Bernie, we can't make your grips anymore. we got a letter from X, Y, and Z saying, you're infringing on their patents. We don't want to get
that is so wrong.
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, I literally had a coach call me recently. He said, "So, Bernie, what's your incentive to get golfers in your grip?" I said, "My incentive is it's going to make them a better putter. Statistics to prove it. The technology I have, if the player commits to it, it'll in time make him a better putter." He goes, "Well, I got this brand. They're paying me X amount of dollars to promote their grips, and they're doing this and that for players." And I said, "Well, listen, I have X amount of tour wins. I've never paid a player. I've never had to pay a coach, and I think that speaks for itself."
Absolutely, it does.
I mean, I don't think there's another putter grip company out there that can say that they have a gold, silver, and bronze in the last 3 Olympics. Cheating. I mean, that is pretty, and that's a pretty high achievement that I'm very proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to see yourself. I remember the first time getting out on tour and say, I just want to see one player get in my grip. The next thing you're seeing somebody on TV. Now it's like, on a weekly basis, seeing somebody out there. I mean, from the percentage of the guys that I have on tour compared to the bigger brands, when I have a guy out there on tour that's, in the last group or wins in that week, it's just such a big achievement. It's just such a great feeling, and the marketing value of that, you can't pay for that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember the first time I saw Lydia Ko with a Garsen grip, I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh, wow, that's so awesome,
Yeah, I mean, and not only Lydia, I mean, Brooke, she's won a major as well with my grip up there, and she's doing well for me in Canada. And it's so funny because it was like, Brooke got out of my grip for a while. She's back in it. The same
that's
thing.
Good to know.
Yeah, she's back in it as well. And I just got a couple new players in it on the LPGA this week. And Carlota Singala, she's been in my grip for a while as well. Top Spanish player. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but it's the same thing out there. If I had my way, honestly, I'd probably just stay on the LPGA tour. I mean, the women out there, they're so nice to work with. They please, thank you, hello. They appreciate things. And,
it's a different world because they really have to earn it. It's a lot. It's not handed to them as much as it is to the men. Right. As far as marketing themselves, they really have to put in a lot of work. So anytime they have, someone like you that's out there helping them get better, they're a lot more respectful for it.
Right. Well, the thing is, I'm not out on tour to make guys a worse putter. I'm out there to try to help you. And it's like, a lot of it is like people don't realize another thing. So I just didn't design a putter grip. Like each one of my grips are designed for a specific style of putter head you use, the way you hold the putter. Like if you've got a face balance putter, I recommend a certain grip. If you're left hand low, I recommend a certain grip. If you're traditional, you've got a putter face more toe hang, I recommend a certain grip. So that's the whole premise of the Garsen grips as well. It's not just another putter grip. There is something in every grip that is designed.
Now, are you using Quintec or SAM or even now Foresight to get data to help the players?
I tried all of that, right? Yeah, I used it all, and I tell the players themselves. Being out on tours, it's really hard to try and work with a player and tell them, this is going to make you better unless you can really prove it. So it's not a whole. I tell them, put a grip on a putter. Take it back home. Go work in the studio with your player. But a lot of it too is, guys. I mean, if you don't have that data available, if you putt with it for 5-10 minutes, you know it feels better or not. Yeah. You can tell. But if you want the true results, the true proof of it, I would challenge anybody to get into a Garsen grip and go get your stats checked. Absolutely. And like I said, I will guarantee it because I've got all the data, and I've had studies done with players, coaches doing studies with my grips compared to other grips and how much better mine perform. I will back my grip 100%. I'm telling you, it will make you a better putter. Just like, this driver is going to make you hit it 10 yards further. Why? Because we put a different paint scheme on it and calling it something new. And that's another, the whole thing every year, these companies coming out with these new clubs, and then the shaft market. It's such a crazy market where, and you and I both know, you go out one day, you feel great. You're hitting the ball like you never believe it. The next day you go out, it's like, what am I doing out here playing golf? Yeah.
It is a wild game. the dirtiness, it still troubles me. How what these other brands that are out there are willing to like sabotage. That is good grief. That it's much like the lab validation of people creating zero torque putters. Company trying to sabotage your company is validation. That you're doing something right.
Right. No, I know. I'm. It used to bug me, but now I'm very happy about it because it just proves to me that I'm doing something right. And I'll be honest with you, I'm one of the, I am definitely the smallest brand out there compared to some of these largest OEMs. And to know that I'm, up there in the top 3 for the amount of grips being used on the PGA Tour is a pretty good satisfaction, pretty good feeling. As I said in the beginning, I got an investor, which within the first 6 months bought him out because they were just trying to, like I say, sabotage. I found out they were just trying to bring the company down and thought I wasn't going to be able to buy them out and pay off the patents because, they tried to sue me. And, granted, I had to pay back the money they invested and start all over again. Had I wished I would have looked at myself now and done it differently, I would have. But that's what happens. Wow. To know now that I started with 1 grip and now I have 11 different designs, and out of the 11, I believe 8 of the designs have won on tour.
That's amazing.
So it's pretty exciting to know that the one of the first times a player puts one of your grips in play goes out and not only wins but wins the gold medal with your grip as well.
The gold medal special. It doesn't happen every year.
No, it doesn't happen every year. That's once every 4 years.
Yeah.
And so having Lydia's the gold and the bronze, and Henrik won the silver with the max grip, and each one's with a different grip. So it's pretty cool with that too.
Yeah. How do guys that are under contract, do they ever approach you about wanting to change, or how does that? Like if a player is interested, but they're under contract, are you allowed to let them tinker? Is there rules for that? Or
with putter grips, they're not under contract, but it's crazy how just because, like I said, certain companies out there are offering perks to use their putter grip, how that'll stick in guys' heads. And not only that, it's like some of the OEMs out there will push another brand more because they're also getting kickbacks to do that. I do, just a lot of other things that happen out there. But I mean, now it used to be a lot easier to approach players, but now there's so much more involved. There's a lot more coaches out there like, well, this is not what I believe in. This is what I'm trying to work with him on it. I think this is better for him. I actually had a player, caddy, call me one time and said, Bernie, I'm really upset about this, but I quit working for my player because, he got out of your grip. And the first time he got into your grip, he had his best stats and best finish all year. He got his tour card back because of your grip. And then a few weeks later, he was out of my grip back into one of the competitors only because, well, here's your $500 monthly bonus for using the grip. Here's your incentive. I mean, it's crazy to think about what these little incentives do to players out there. But you know what? I guess money talks. And
that's one of the things that bugs me about LIV is there's no, golf has always been a game where if you are good and you are talented and you're charismatic and you go out there and you work hard and you win, you earn it.
No, right. Yeah.
You earn it. Nobody goes out there and plays like ass and earns it. You have to win. You have to play. Right. And that's kind of what bugged me about LIV is like, you're taking the grind away from it. And you look at a lot of the LIV players now that just were amazing golfers 3 years ago. Cameron Smith is a big person that I look at. This was a guy that was at the top of his game.
Right.
And the drive to win has just been removed from him, in my opinion.
Oh, if they're getting paid, no matter, there's no cut. They're out there making money, making a lot of money. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. You know, we've all been hearing about this going back together. But then if that happens, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. How are you going to bring back these top players and put them right back in there, the thick of things, where you got a guy that's in the top 70 to play in the elevated events, and they bring back 10 live guys. So what does that mean?
Bye.
Bottom 10 are gone.
Yeah.
And which I think if you want them back on the PGA Tour, make them go back to Q School.
Yep.
They have no status on tour.
Yep.
If you really want it that bad, as you're talking about the drive, if you really want to get back on the tour, you're not happy with your decision, fine, go prove that you really want to be out here and put the work back in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got all these young kids out there now that are striving to get on tour and have been putting in the work. And then it's like, and it's getting harder and harder every year. Like, you know, this last week at Greensboro was the last Monday qualifier.
Yeah.
There's going to be no more Monday qualifiers for guys that, you know, live in the dream, go out there, go on a Monday qualifier. They get into a tournament and they end up finishing top 10, top 25, and they get to play in a couple of events or whatever. That's gone.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's going to be really strange to see what's going to happen if it ever does coincide where the tours do come back together.
One of my favorite stories, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but Ryan Moore played at UNLV, local guy, so of course, big Rymo fan. But he got a big paycheck from Ping coming out of college. I mean, he had one of the greatest amateur years ever, and he signed a huge contract with Ping, and he went out there and he said, he admitted it, that my desire to win was not there because I had the money. I didn't have to go out and earn the money.
Right.
And so he lost his game.
Yeah.
And he came to that realization and then went straight independent. He was playing Adams for a while, and just whatever clubs he thought made him play better. And he got his game back. And he solely said it was, you know, I got clouded by money because, you know, the desire to have to go out there and earn money for my family was just gone.
Right.
It's a different level.
Well, I mean, think about Liv, not only just the money, the bonus they get just for signing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, I just got X amount of millions of dollars. It's like,
I'll go shoot 80 for 3 days. Who cares?
Play golf in shorts. It's a shotgun start. I mean, I've done a couple of events. It is a whole different atmosphere.
Oh, the one in Vegas we went to because we're golf nerds. You know,
right.
I love golf. I'm not a big fan of Live, but I'm a golf nut, so I'm gonna go watch golf no matter where it is.
Yeah, but yeah, it's insane because, you know, I know all those guys that are out on tour. I've got a number of players out there that have been in my grip, have won in my grip out there, and it's like, you know, and it's like just their level. You can see how they're just so much more laid back out there. It's like, you know. And but yeah, start to think about, like you're saying, the money. What John Rahm get $400 million just to join?
Oh.
Think about that. How many people in their lifetime with their whole family?
He could have bought Lab twice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So.
Hey, so are your grips available in retail?
Yes, they are. We're in All Club Champions. We're in a lot of specialty shops. You can go on the GarsenGolf.com and look at our website, and it'll tell you where they're available. I mean, I was in PGA Tour Superstores, but to be honest with you, that's just like being lost. You walk in, there's so much presence from another company, and my grips are in a little bin, and it's just kind of like, you know. And I mean, and I'm on another retail side. I can't tell you how hard and how long I fought to get into the big retail stores too, because one brand was paying off, you know, people to keep smaller brands or my brand out of the stores.
Wow.
I've fought an uphill battle, you know, and I'm really happy right now to work with Andrew, who's on board with me, who's like my managing director of the company.
Mm-hmm.
I met Andrew through, he was working with another company that I was involved with. They were handling all my marketing and distribution. And that went well for the first year. And then they tried to acquire part of my company, and the deal didn't go through because I wasn't going to give up 40% of my company for what they were offering. So they kind of just like let the company go on the wayside, and really, you know, it was rough. And Andrew's been on board since December. He actually worked for the other company, but he was fired through email when our contract ended. And I tried to get out of the contract, but my attorney's like, well, you know what? It's going to cost you more to get out of the contract than just letting it go through But it really put a damper on the recognition of Garsen. The social media was crap, you know. It was like, but they had the contract with social media, so I'm very happy now with my marketing side. Jeff Walk is doing a great job with Andrew. You know, they're doing weekly stuff, weekly promotions, getting a lot of brand recognition out there with a lot of coaches, and you know, and I'm seeing a lot more presence now on Instagram. People doing some videos themselves, showing them changing grips on the way how I change grips out on tour. Where I'm
the
cutting
tour van videos are great.
Where I'm cutting off a super stroke and throwing it away. I see people doing this, and you know, it's like, you know, I've been approached. Oh, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, why not? It's a free world. It's you know, it's like I'm very proud where I'm taking off a putter grip and putting on another putter grip. You know,
Absolutely.
I've been through a lot out there with, like I was saying, with things that I've seen happen to me, things that have happened to me. I have no shame to admit that I have a good product. It's just that, as I said, the politics out there, I don't have the resources to put millions of dollars into marketing. If I did, you know, my goal is just to, you know, one day be the number one putter grip company out there. And if I just continue on the road I'm down, keep doing what I'm doing, it's feasible. I know it is. Because, like I said, I can't think of another individual company out there that has 85 tour wins. As I mean, I'm actually doing some custom grips for the big company in Japan. They're like, well, this grip company is giving us their grips at this cost. I'm like, yeah, well, that's that grip company. How many tour wins they have?
Yeah.
That's why you're going to pay more for a Garsen grip.
That's why you're talking to me.
You have a lot more to go by. You know, I said, can they claim they won a gold, silver, and bronze in the last 3 Olympics? They have 85 tour wins, you know. So no, you have one tour player out on tour that uses your grip, and it's, you know, and he's actually not even on the tour. He's on the live tour.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Is the Garsen semi truck tour van coming?
No. No. That's another whole nother story. Trying to get a truck out on tour is almost impossible. I mean, believe me, for what it cost me to be out on tour, you think it might be more feasible to get a truck. I mean, between the tours alone, just to be out on tour, between the Corn Ferry Tour and the LPGA Tour, the initial cost of me, my credential and everything for the year is close to $15,000.
Wow.
That's dropping that every first year. That's not included then the travels throughout the year, the airplanes, the hotels, the rental cars, the meals, and all that. That's just to get started.
That's just to get started.
That's to have space on trucks for the trucks to carry your bag, to, you know, be able to work on the trucks, right? Yeah.
Wow.
And for your credential.
So the trucks that you are shooting those videos out of, is that like a PGA?
Yeah, that's the Wilson Tour van.
The Wilson Tour van? Okay.
I travel. My bag is carted around every week to week with the tour van. So when I first started, I was carting my bag from tournament to tournament. I didn't have a place to change grips. I was going out back. I used to bring a little bottle of solvent and a razor blade knife and tape and do it myself until I, you know, believe me, yeah.
That's crazy. So is that a partnership you have with them, or is it just
I pay to be on the truck. I pay for the space. The same thing like the Corn Ferry Tour truck. I pay, you know, a yearly fee to be out there, which gives me, they do the same. They cart my bag around. I have the rights to work in the truck. I have a drawer for the grips and all that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That helps. I mean,
it helps, but yeah,
that helps big time.
But it's like knowing when the first year comes on, there goes 15 grand.
God,
that's crazy. A lot. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, you said something earlier that I wanted to come back to. You said that the guy at the golf shop or where you worked said you potentially senior tour. How good of a stick were you?
I was pretty good.
Don't look at him being bashful.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, I recently, because I had shoulder surgery a couple years ago, I recently gone back and I'm playing. I can get around in low 70s still, and that's just playing once every couple of weeks. You know, that's not even like consistently hitting golf balls. And
all right, you were a stick.
We went out a couple of weeks ago, and I think I shot 4 under on the back 9. You know, I had a chance the other day. We were out playing. I was 3 under coming into 6, and what do I do? Double bogey, bogey, bogey. You know, you know, but still to shoot, you know, 1 over par. You know, I mean, and I'm 66 years old. but and a lot more goes into that. I still work out. I'm trying to stay in shape, and it's like, traveling, I travel at least 3 weeks out of the month, Monday through Wednesday. So there's a lot on my plate with that. And it's like I said, I used to do it all at one time, do the traveling, do all the shipping, do all the receiving. Now having the warehouse space and having Andrew help me out, and having, we got the distribution going and the marketing and having the grips sent out. It saves a lot, but
Oh, I bet.
yeah.
I bet.
So,
That's awesome.
I've been known to take money from tour players out there putting. Everybody knows I'm one of the best putters out there.
What's in your bag? What's your bag makeup consist of right now?
My bag makeup consists of right now, I've got TaylorMade driver 3-wood and hybrids. I've got Tour Proto irons. And right now I've got a Peretti no torque putter in my bag, mallet putter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I go from putter to putter, but I tell you what, this Peretti's been pretty special. I've got hundreds of putters. I mean,
I bet.
Oh yeah, I try them all. I get them all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a putter geek. I love playing with different putters. I love different feels. This Goodwood that I got right now, though, it's the honeymoon phase has lasted a couple months, and so it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I know. I've tended to do the same thing. It's like, let me try this one this week. But now this one's been in my bag for a while, and I feel really comfortable with it. And the funniest thing is about it, no matter what putter's in my bag, the original design, the Max Grip, is my grip of choice.
Is your grip of choice?
Yeah. I mean, they're all great. I mean, so the whole philosophy now with the quad grip, it's the same technology of the Max, but more traditional.
And the Max is the one that has a spine down the middle, right?
Yeah, exactly. The one that's shaped like that. So it gets your hands open up. So
it's
basically,
hilarious.
The shape of the quad is getting the same position, but with your thumbs on top. It's, like I said, getting your elbows in. And the best thing about the grips is, if anybody that knows it, they know that there's no breakdown at impact. Like if you get tense with your stroke and squeeze the putter grip at times, the putter's going to go left or right. But with the Garsen grips, the design allows your hands to stay more stable no matter what grip pressure you put on the grip.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, the Max grips on some putters, and my buddy Dan, who's on the podcast, is a really good putter, and I handed it to him one time, and he was like, get that out of my hands. I said, yeah, it's not for everybody, but you got to try it.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It's
not for everybody. It feels different in the beginning, but just give it some time.
What was your thoughts on the Lambkin sell to Superstroke? Did that catch you by surprise at all?
I know Superstroke has been trying to get in the swing grip market for a long time. It's hard to even say what that whole sale was about. No comment. I had my thoughts, but no comment.
We'll save face. All right. Well, so what do you want to get into what you're doing outside of golf?
No, I'm just getting into a new venture. We could talk. Well, I'm designing another brand, getting into a new sport, but it kind of taking some of the golf technology that I've learned and putting it into something else that's out there.
Well,
stay tuned.
I'll tell everybody, stay tuned for that, because we had a conversation before.
Continue on to another venture.
Yeah, before hopping on, and is it still going to be under Garsen name?
Probably. It'll be Garsen, something by Garsen, whatever, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah. Well, Bernie, thank you so much for hopping on.
I've been here.
I've been wanting to do this for so long. I'm glad people found out a little bit more about the company, more about you, and what you're doing out there. The dirty stuff going on tour, man.
Yep,
Stop it. Stop it, people.
Those of you who don't know, GarsenGolf.com, go on, check us out. Any questions, reach out on Instagram. More than happy to help you with any decisions you have, any comments, any questions about what style of grip you want for what putter, what is best. Always here to help out.
Yep. I'll have all the links in the show notes with how to get in touch with them through their website, social media, and all that stuff. So again, Bernie, thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
Excited to see what's happening for you in the future, and we're going to keep our eyes on Garsen Golf.
Got it, man. 100%. All right.
Thanks,
Shout out. All the best to you, buddy.